Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Glenn Calloway coming to you from the basement. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Um, I am going to do a quick series of videos. It might take me three or four to get through this, concentrating on my favorite decade of music, 1964 to 1974. Last week, maybe the week before, on the live chat on the Canadian Stud Muffins channel, Larry Graves. Please, we're doing another one at 4 o'clock this afternoon on Saturday. Please go to Larry's channel and watch. It's a lot of fun. And anyway, the question came up: what was the greatest year for music? And a lot of people answered 1969. I answered 1967, and I don't know why I answered 1967. It's part of that decade, so obviously some great music came out that year. My favorite album of all time, Sgt. Pepper's, came out that year. So that may be why I said it. Then I've been thinking about it since I answered, trying to figure out, what really is my favorite year out of those 10 years of incredible releases. So I started to, this morning, I went through a process of Google searching top 100 albums of each year from 1964 to 74. And then the ones that caught my eye, I jotted down. Now, not necessarily just an album that I liked, because there is lots of them that are just really good albums, but ones that I think are iconic to me. And so I jotted those down for each year. And interestingly enough, I came up with 171 albums over that 10-year period. And I'm going to go through them all. So that's why I said this might take me a few videos. So I'm going to do 1964 and 1965 today. But 171 albums chosen. In 1964, I chose 5 of the albums. Now, there's a lot of good albums. I'm sure other people are going to go, hey, you left out this one, you left out that one. But these were the ones that I went, wow, like right off, I think they're just incredible records. In 1965, there was 8 albums. In 1966, there was 9 albums. So it's slowly going up and up and up, the amount of albums that I consider just like unbelievable. 1967, it jumped to 16. In 1968, that jumped to 20. So what's that telling you? Music's getting better and better, or as I'm getting older, I'm getting more, I don't know what the analysis is. My horizons are broadening. I'm not sure. 1969, 29 albums I picked that I think are just all incredible. 1970, 23. It's starting to, it peaked 69. 70, 23. 71, 21. So between 1969 and 1971, there's like 60 some albums, like 30, at least 30-40% of the records that I chose overall came from those 3 years. 1972, 13. Now it's starting to drop down again. 1973, 13. 1974, 14. So those years from 72 to 74, I don't know. Anyway, I found this interesting process to go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each year. So we'll see how long it's going to take me. I'm just going to do 64 and 65 today. We'll do 66 and 67 probably the same time in a day or so. So let's get started. So 1964, obviously, what happened? The Beatles were on Ed Sullivan. That's the year things really exploded for me, when in February of 1964, seeing the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. Before that, I was really into music from the time I was like born. I just never remember a day not being passionate about music, but it was more, like Gene Pitney and some Elvis stuff that my uncles were listening to and stuff like that. So, but what really hit me was the Beatles. So I picked 2 Beatle albums that came out in 1964. Now, we had Meet the Beatles with Beatlemania in Canada, but this is the British equivalent with the Beatles, iconic, and Hard Day's Night. I mean, 2 incredible albums, either the mono versions out of the mono box set, replicas with the fold back covers, and Amazing sets. So yeah, the two Beatle albums got me. Now I'm not necessarily thinking back to what was motivating me in 1964. I'm looking back now on the albums that went out in 64 and how I feel about them today. So those Beatle albums, I mean, I'm a Beatles freak. They'll always be iconic to me. Bob Dylan is my second favorite artist. And although I didn't really discover Bob until 65, to the point where I went, oh man, this guy's amazing, I had been somewhat aware of him through friends, older brothers and stuff who were into the folk scene. But Bob released two great albums in 64. Another Side of Bob Dylan and The Times They Are Changing. Both incredible records. Yeah, so, I mean, they are right up there with me for iconic records. And another album that I would never have been aware of in 1964, but now it's phenomenal recording. One of the best recorded albums ever made as far as I'm concerned. Muddy Waters' Folk Singer album. This is great. This is the Super Audio CD of this, which sounds amazing. It's Muddy Waters, Buddy Guy, and basically Willie Dixon, the three of them playing together. And I'm telling you, when you listen to this on your stereo and close your eyes, those guys are in the room with you. It's the most incredible recording. Love this. Highly recommend it. So 1964, there are 5 albums that really just, I think, are just above all the others. Not that there isn't other good ones. Okay, 1965. So things start to heat up a little bit in 1965. I've got 8 titles here. One, a band that came out and just had hit after hit after hit, and I think this is a really good record if you haven't heard it. The Lovin' Spoonful, Do You Believe in Magic? There's some blues on here, there's some pop, some jug band. It's just a really, really solid, good album. Do You Believe in Magic? Fantastic song, The Lovin' Spoonful. The Rolling Stones, Now. This is the first Stones album that I fell in love with. I mean, I'd heard them before and was a fan from their appearance on Ed Sullivan, but I think 65 is the year they really broke more than 64. I mean, they had, I think the first Rolling Stones song I ever heard was their version of Not Fade Away, the Buddy Holly tune. And they introduced me to the blues without me even knowing it, right? I didn't know who Muddy Waters was and Howlin' Wolf and all these guys. It was Rolling Stones music to me. But Rolling Stones Now is my favorite early Stones album. I freaking love this album. It's got Everybody Needs Somebody to Love, a couple of Chuck Berry covers, You Can't Catch Me. Heart of Stone was a big hit. Mona's a great song. Down the Road a Piece is just a great rocker. Off the Hook. They do a great version of Little Red Rooster. Oh man, Willie Dixon's incredible song. This is a fantastic album, Rolling Stones Now. Okay, now we start to discover Bob Dylan. Mostly because of this. The Byrds, Mr. Tambourine Man. This album kind of just started a whole new subgenre of music with the folk rock scene. Mr. Tambourine Man, just an incredible cover of that song. And Bob becomes pretty, I'd say, he's starting to become pretty famous. So it's an iconic album. So let's get into the 2 that Bob released that year. So now he's starting to go electric. He's starting to get into it. The first one was Bringing It All Back Home. I hadn't heard this yet. First side is electric. Second side is acoustic. So he's just at that point. And then, like a Rolling Stone, hits the airwaves. 6 minutes and 13 seconds of pure genius. A life-changing song for people who listened, opened their ears, and for other musicians, for radio formatting, for just the sound of the recording, words. I mean, it is the most important single ever released as far as I'm concerned. This album comes out, Like a Rolling Stone was the hit song off it, and I grabbed this right away. The B-side, so when I grabbed the single for Like a Rolling Stone, the B-side is Gates of Eden. Now, Gates of Eden, I think because Bob recorded Like a Rolling Stone first in June of this year, of whatever year he recorded this, 65, I guess. Like a Rolling Stone was recorded first, and I think the single came out before he'd even finished making the album. So they used the B-side off of Gates of Eden off of this album. So once I heard Like a Rolling Stone, got the 45, flipped it over and played Gates of Eden, I went out and bought this album because that song is on here. So I had both these albums in 65, and amazing. I mean, Ballad of a Thin Man and Like a Rolling Stone, Desolation Row, I mean, just incredible. And this album has his version of Mr. Tambourine Man on it, and oh yeah, just incredible records, incredible. The Beatles are still going strong, man. They put out two amazing albums that year, Help and Rubber Soul. Now, the Beatles album I left off of this so far are Please Please Me and Beatles for Sale. I didn't include them. I could have, but I just, how much Beatles can you guys listen to? Rubber Soul, one of the great albums of all time, and same with Help, just amazing. So more Beatles, and last but not least, an album again that I would never have been aware of in 1965, would never have paid any attention to, but now I think it's incredible. One of my favorite guitar players, jazz, Grant Green, Idle Moments. If you've never heard this man play, you should check this out. Even if you're not a jazz fan, I guarantee you would love it. It's the instrumentation's great, Hammond B organs, and really, I don't know if I should say he has a rock mentality with jazz. I'm not sure how to say it, but Grant Green's amazing. You can't go wrong. If you see a Grant Green record, grab it. They're all great, but Idle Moments is iconic. So that's 1964 and 1965. I am going to come back and do 66 and 67, probably maybe record it tomorrow and get it up. So I hope you'll enjoy this. Please leave some comments. Let me know what your favorites are from that year and what your favorite year is. I'm starting to think maybe my favorite year isn't 1967. So peace out, everyone. See you on the live chat at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Take care.